Dear students, welcome. Let me know if I am audible and visible to you. Okay, great. Today we'll discuss the first case study given by UPSC in 2022 mains examination. I've taken a lot of time. I have discussed with some of the psychologists also and also subject matter specialists. And the things which I am discussing today will be based on my knowledge, my experience, and also the knowledge I have got from my teachers M. Lakshmikant and Suryanarayan sir. So this will be a very important and a exhaustive explanation where I have tried to address all the dimensions. If you carry this as the base, you can answer any question. And let me tell you one, if you have got any doubt with respect to this case study, please comment below in the video in the comment section. I'll be very happy to answer these things. And those of you who are interested to take ethics classes, please do message on this number. Online and offline classes will be available. Online classes will be through Zoom and offline classes will be in Bangalore and Delhi. Having said that, let us begin. Let us take up the first case study. This is one of the most important and in fact the trickiest case studies. Here, to begin with, let us read out the question. Okay. Prabhat was working as a vice president marketing at Sterling Electric Limited. So he was the vice president, not the president, a reputed multinational company. But presently, company was passing through the difficult times as sales were continuously showing downward trend in the last 2 quarters. His division, which hitherto had been a major revenue contributor to the company's financial health, was now desperately trying to procure some big government order from them. But their best efforts did not yield any positive success or breakthrough. His was a professional company. Professional company means a company organized by one or more licensed individual. Say, for example, a doctor, lawyer. Here it is an electric company. And there was a local boss also. This was a professional company, and his local boss was under pressure from the London-based headquarters to show some positive results. In the past performance review meeting taken by the executive director, India head, he was reprimanded, means to tell, especially in a formal way, about the unacceptable or wrong behavior. He was reprimanded for his poor performance. He assured them that his division is working on a special contract from the Defense Ministry for a secret installation near Gwalior, and the tender is being submitted shortly. He was under extreme pressure. He was deeply perturbed, means feeling anxious, unsettled, disturbed. What aggravated the situation was a warning from the top that if the deal is not clinched in favor of the company, his division might be closed and he may have to quit his lucrative job. There was also another dimension which was causing him deep mental torture and agony. Mental torture, agony means great pain. This pertained to personal precarious, means uncertain situation. Precarious financial health. He was a single earner in the family with two school or college going children, and his old ailing means person who is in bad health, poor health. Old ailing mother. The heavy expenditure on education and medicine was causing a big strain on his monthly payback. Regular EMI for housing loan taken from the bank unavoidable, and any default would render him liable for severe legal action. In the above backdrop, He was hoping for some miracle to happen. There was sudden turn of events. His secretary informed that a gentleman, Subhash Verma, wanted to see him as he was interested in the position of manager, which was to be filled by him in the company. Means he was having the full authority to fill. He further brought to his notice that his CV has been received through the office of the Ministry of Defense. During the interview of the candidate, that is Subhash Verma here, he found him to be technically sound, resourceful, experienced marketer. He seemed to be well conversant with the tendering procedures and having knack, that is a skill of doing something, having knack of follow up and lighting in his regard. Prabhat felt that he was the better choice than the rest of the candidates who were recently interviewed by him in the last few days. Subhash Verma also indicated that he was in possession of the copies of the bid document that Unique Electric Limited would be submitting the next day to the Defense Ministry for the tender. He offered to hand over those documents subject to his employment in the company on suitable terms and conditions. He made it clear that in the process, the Sterling Electric Limited would outbid their rival company and get the bid and hefty defense ministry order. He indicated that it will be a win-win situation for both him and also the company. Prabhat was absolutely stunned. He was not aware, like, what is going on? He was, it was a mixed feeling of shock and thrill. He was uncomfortable and perspiring, means sweating because of stress. If accepted, all his problem will vanish instantly and he may be rewarded for securing the much awaited tender and thereby boosting the company's sale and financial health. He was in a fix, means he was in a very difficult or embarrassed situation. He was in a fix as to the future course of the action. He was wonderstruck at the guts of Subhash Verma in having surreptitiously, secretly, that is secretly, without anyone knowing that. Surreptitiously, he has removed the things, surreptitiously reviewing his own company papers and offering to the rival company for a job. Being an experienced person, he was examining the pros and cons of the proposal or the situation, and he asked him to come the next day. Now, if we can look into the questions, the first question, discuss the ethical issues involved in the case study. See, this is the one of the important thing which you have to consider. What is the meaning of ethical issue? Along with ethical dilemmas and also ethical things. Sorry. Here, okay, sorry. Here you should be aware of what is ethical issue. What is the difference between an ethical issue and an ethical concern and also ethical dilemma? We'll discuss that. Next question, critically examine the options available to Prabhat in the above situation. Which of the above would be most appropriate for Prabhat and why? Answer in 250 words, 20 marks. Okay. Before I get into the question, let us discuss some of the important things which you have to take into consideration. This provides the framework to solve the case study based questions. It's very important. First and foremost thing which you have to consider in solving any case study is number one is what is tested. What is tested in this paper? Students are not aware as to what is tested. Here, the most important thing is the name of our paper is Ethics, Integrity, and Aptitude, right? At the same time, in the preamble of the syllabus, UPSC clearly mentions that this paper will include the question to test the candidate's attitude. and approach the issues relating to integrity, probity in public life. And his UPSC has made a mistake here. You shouldn't make these kind of mistakes. And his problem solving approach to various issues and conflict faced by him in dealing with the society. This is what has been quoted in the syllabus. The name of the paper is Ethics, Integrity and Aptitude. Then why UPSC is saying that they're testing your attitude, integrity, probity, problem solving things? Why? Here, the most important thing which you have to consider is number one, in this paper, they are testing the attitude. By testing your attitude, they are trying to reveal the ethical standards what you have in your mind. Attitude is a mental predisposition. Attitude is a evaluation, a summary evaluation, but it is not your feeling, it is not your thought, or it's not your behavior. It is a summary evaluation of all these things. In fact, attitude is the better predictor of the things. So by testing your attitudes, which are in the form of evaluations, will be based on the ethical standards what you have, will be based on the values what you have. So UPSC is testing attitude. By this, they are testing the ethical standards you know. Here, you should be aware of some of the important things. That is, you should be aware of how attitude is tested. UPSC has made this clear that they are testing your attitude. But there are many methods of testing the attitude. You should be aware of the attitudes and also how they are tested. Here, let me give a brief hint with respect to attitude. Attitude is made up of affect, behavior, and cognitive components. They are testing your attitude in the most simplest form. We can say that you have to express these things: affect, behavior, and cognition. Say, for example, in the sample question presented by UPSC in 2012, we had a question where one of your friend was copying in the examination hall. Here, you have to express your affect component. That is, I feel very bad. I feel shocked. Your behavior, I have not come across these kind of things. Your cognition, I can't believe that my friend can do like this. So this indicates the attitude. So you have to express these kind of things, if not like elaborately, just in few words, it will suffice. Then they are testing your approach. During this process, they are testing whether you are a person who is uncorruptible, integrity, uncorruptible. And also they will test, are you following in the prescribed procedures, processes, mechanisms? So through this, they are testing your integrity and approach. And problem solving approach, this is one of the most important thing. Problem solving is the major component of case study. By this, they are testing your aptitude. So there is a problem, you have to solve that. You cannot be indifferent. There is a problem, you have to solve, or at least you have to give suggestions as to how you will solve that problem. Right? Then, very important, you should be aware of who you are. What is your position in the organization, in the community, in the society? Are you the head? Are you the servant? Are you the boss? What is your position? What is your duty? What is your role and responsibility? Based on that, you have to answer the question. Along with that, you shouldn't cause the power and authority what you have. So you should have a fair understanding as to what is your position in the organization, what is your duty, role, and responsibility, what is your power and authority before you solve any question or take any decision. Stakeholders involved. Here, you have to take into consideration of all the people who are involved in the process of decision or who are involved in the problem. All the people, institutions or organizations. Here, one of the most often overlooked thing is Here you forget that you are also the party, you are also the stakeholder. Students, what they do is they will just take the question paper and they will just see the names which are there, and they will think that is the only thing. No, you have to like widen the horizon. It includes you, the organization, the society, and our nation. So these are the things which you have to take into consideration in addition to the things which are apparently mentioned in the question paper. Ethical issues, ethical concerns and dilemmas. In 2022 question, most of the questions have this. So ethical issue, what is this ethical issue? Most of students are confused here. What is the difference between ethical issue and ethical concern and ethical dilemma? Ethics is relating to societal standards. So ethical issue pertains to the societal standards. Ethical concerns refers to those concerns where these ethical issues or ethical standards are violated. Say, for example, corruption. Corruption is an ethical concern. An ethical dilemma is when you are not able to take a decision because there is a conflict between two ethical standards. So, ethical issue, ethical concern, and ethical dilemma are different, and you should be able to differentiate those things. Then, the one of the most important things, source of ethical guidance. Your actions, you're solving a problem. That is the one of the most important thing. There, you should have some source, some guide. The source of ethical guidance, as it is apparently mentioned in your syllabus, under ethics in administration. UPSC has mentioned that laws, rules, regulation, and conscience has a source of ethical guidance. So when this is a question with respect to public administration, then you have to take into consideration all these things, and that has to be the source of ethical guidance. Here, most important, source of ethical guidance cannot be equated to ethics. Laws, rules, regulations, customs, traditions, religion, they all act as a source of ethical guidance, but they are not ethics. Here, we are taking them as the source of ethical guidance because these things, that is, your laws, rules, and regulations, are based on what is accepted, what is ethical. So, these are the source of ethical guidance, not ethics in itself. That was with respect to public administration in general for any human. The core or universal values should be the source of ethical guidance, along with reason and conscience. Core values. Each society has a value. Each society has something important. Based on that, it has got certain social relations and also social behavior. This social relation and social behavior, which is based on that thing which is important to that society. Values means those things which are important. Societal values means those things which are important for the society to flourish, progress. Based on these things, you have got social relations and social behavior. This gives to a definite way of life, a distinct way of life, a unique way of life that we call as culture, right? There is a bigger aspect to this. Every society has a value, set of specific values, but there are some values which are important to all the society, to the whole humanity. Those kind of values are known as universal values. Say, for example, honesty, not to steal. We as citizens, our source of ethical guidance should be the Constitution, laws, rules, in addition to the core values, reason, and conscience. For a community or a society, in addition to the above mentioned, customs and norms also act as source of ethical guidance. When it comes to profession, in addition to the above things which we have mentioned, professional values, code of ethics, code of conduct has to be taken care. One point here, all professions have values which are known as professional values. At the same time, they have code of ethics and also code of conduct, right? So here, civil service is also a profession. So civil service has civil service values, code of ethics, and code of conduct. Values are all encompassing. Values are broader thing. Professional values are broad. Within that comes your code of ethics. Within that comes your code of conduct. Values are those things which are important. Professional values refers to those things which are important to the profession. Code of ethics is related to broad principles which guide the behavior of the individual who are working. And code of conduct refers to specific specific things of conduct and behavior, specific unambiguous do's and don'ts of conduct and also behavior. This has to be kept in mind. Then what is the problem? First of all, you have to start the case study while you are brainstorming with what exactly is the problem. This is the main component. In case study, there is a problem that has to be solved in an ethical way. When you solve the case study in an ethical way, you prove that you are a man of integrity, a person of integrity. So you have to solve by taking into the consideration of ethical standards. When you do that, it leads to integrity or probity. Most important here, you have to take into consideration of the main or major problem and that which requires immediate action. Say, for example, in this case study, the major problem is the company is making loss. The sales are going down. That is the major problem. But the thing which needs to be addressed immediately is getting a defense contract. In that, again, whether to hire Subhash Verma or not. So the main problem is to increase the sales. One of the common mistakes done by the students is they won't address the main problem. They'll be concentrating on that specific thing which needs immediate action. It's true that you have to solve that, but at the same time, you have to take care of the major problem which is being asked. And you should be aware of problem solving technique, because as UPSC has mentioned that they will be testing the problem solving approach. You should be aware of the problem solving techniques. What are the options available to the problem? Here, when you are at home, when you are trying to analyze a case study, try to come up with as many options as possible. To begin with, not in the examination, no. To begin with, try to come up as many options as possible. The more the options, the better the problem solver you are. And here you have to differentiate between those which are ethical, legal, and also which are unethical, illegitimate, which are acceptable, non-acceptable. Here, there is a dilemma as to what will be the option. So I discussed with some of the psychologists who have worked in like analyzing the attitude, the problem solving things. There was no unanimity there. Say, for example, your parents are not giving money. Your parents are not giving money. Then what are the options available? Can killing your parents and getting all their money is an option? Is it an option? The second point, the options available to a man of integrity or a person of integrity and a corrupt person are different. Say, for example, you need 1,000 rupees. You are a person of integrity. The options available to you are different from the options available to a thief. Let me make one more. Here, say for example, you are an officer, government officer. If someone offers you bribe Is taking the bribe an option? Many subject matter specialists feel that taking the bribe is not the option at all. It's not the option. But in the case study, I have given all the options to go through those things. Okay. What is the best or most appropriate action? Here, you should never violate the constitutional values, constitutional morality, the laws, rules, and regulations. As a professional, you always have to abide by the values, professional value, code of ethics, code of conduct. You should never violate the universal values, and your answer should be based on reason and conscience. Way forward. In the last, you have to solve the problem, and often students are not doing. Here, you have to suggest as to how this problem can be prevented in future. At the same time, if you have got any recent, very important current event, you can link to that. That should not take, like, it should be written in a very crisp way, in one line, two line. Okay, these are the things which you have to take into consideration when you are solving any case study. Type of case study, this is one of the most important thing, because students should be aware of the type of the questions they are getting beforehand. If you are aware of the type of the questions, the nature of the question, you can come up with a framework. So students should have a ready framework for every type of question. If the nature of question, if the type of question is A, they should have a framework for this, and also a general framework to solve the case study. Otherwise, you will be just confused as to how to solve in the examination hall. So you should have a general framework and also a specific framework to specific type of questions. This time they have asked all the above. What are the ethical issues? Second, ethical concern, ethical dilemmas involved in the case study. Next, what are the options available to you under the given circumstance? Critically examine or evaluate each of the options. And what is the most appropriate option or a course of action? Next type of question is, what mechanisms, policy, or measures would you suggest to solve the social issue or problem that is with respect to case study or any topic in the syllabus or any social or issue or problem or any contemporary or ethical issue, maybe with respect to war, environment, bioethics, privacy, sports, and refugee problem. Think it over. So let us take up the case study. Most important, you have to take into consideration of some of the things which I'll be mentioning. Why UPSC has mentioned these things in a specific way? Why some of the facts are mentioned here? In that, to begin with, number one, Prabhat is the vice president marketing at Sterling Electric Limited. Means he is the vice president. There is one person above him. He is not the management. He is not the ultimate decision maker. He is concerned with the marketing. Then this is a professional company. Means it has got values, code of ethics, and also code of conduct. A special contract from the Ministry of Defense for a secret installation. Why they have mentioned? Why they have mentioned only defense? They would have mentioned any other department. In neither of the case studies till date, the Ministry of Defense was mentioned. In this case study, they have mentioned. Why? Secret installation near Gwalior, and the tender is being submitted shortly. Means not yet submitted. It will be submitted shortly. Next thing which you have to take into consideration is Subhash Verma's CV has been received through the Office of Ministry of Defense. Why? How can A office, a government organization forward a CV to a private company. Why they have done this one? We have to look into those things also. Next, the position of manager was to be filled by Prabhat. Means it is in the hands of Prabhat whether to take Subhash Verma or not. The Unique Electronics Limited would be submitting the copy of the bid documents the next day to the Defense Ministry for their tender. And also, Prabhat was asked to come. Prabhat asked Subhash Verma to come next day. Why? So both, there is something. This is because this is a problem solving thing. You have to give options. Can we come up with any things in relation to these things? We have to think it over. Is Subhash Verma an agent of Unique Electronics or the Defense Ministry? You should be thinking in this line also, because he's a very efficient worker. He has the knack of getting things done. Is he an agent of Unique Electronics or somehow Defense Ministry, whether Defense Ministry is trying to see whether this company is maintaining the integrity, following the probity? Is there anything like that? You have to think it over. Subhash Marwa was uncomfortable, perspiring. There was another dimension which was causing him deep mental torture and agony. Here, you should think, like, can we take up something related to emotional intelligence? Can we apply the concepts of emotional intelligence here? This is a very important thing. One of the limitations in the with respect to solving case study or thing is they have not included the concept of emotional intelligence. This is a very important concept, but one of the latest concept. It just got popularized in 1996 after Don Goleman's book with the same name, Emotional Intelligence. Means it's just some 25, 30 years. And another important thing, there were only 7 chapters in UPSC ethics paper. One chapter is emotional intelligence. By this, you can gauge how important is this concept. Most of the students are not applying this concept in the case study or in any of the questions which they write in the ethics paper. So this is high time we have to consider this concept too. Having said that, stakeholders. Here, the stakeholders are Prabhat, the Vice President Marketing, and also the President Marketing, Executive Director at the Sterling Electric Limited. Next, Sterling Electric Limited India and also London headquarters and the local bosses. These are the stakeholders. Along with that, Prabhat's unit, which may be closed if the deal is not clenched, and also the employees, Prabhat and his family, Prabhat and his profession. These are the stakeholders. Along with that, Minister of Defense is also the stakeholder here. I repeat, Minister of Defense is also an important stakeholder. Along with that, Subhash Verma and the Unique Electronics, Subhash Verma and other interview candidates can also be taken as the stakeholders here. The most important thing, if you want to solve the case study in the most ideal way and easy way, first of all, ask what is the question? If you are able to pinpoint the question, then you can easily solve. First thing what you have to do is first pinpoint as to what is the problem. In that, pinpoint the main problem and also that needs immediate action, right? Try to solve this problem. How to solve this? Come up with as many options as possible. As many options. This is the method of problem solving. There are many problem solving techniques that the most important crux or the key is to have more number of problems. More number of options means you are a better problem solver. Clear? So here, most of the students are just concentrating on the immediate problem. They are not looking into the main problem. Say, for example, in a community, some people fell ill. Say, for example, they have fear. They have got fear. Giving paracetamol is that which is required. That is the immediate one. But in the first place, why did these people get fever? Why they are ill? You have to solve that also. I repeat here, you have to identify the main problem and also the one which required immediate action. And while you are solving, you have to come up with as many options as possible. What is the main problem and that which required immediate action? Here the main problem is the company is making loss because the sales are down for the last 2 quarters. That which requires immediate action is with respect to getting the defense deal and more specifically whether to hire Subhash Verma or not. Most important thing is sales are drawn away by the thing that if we hire Subhash Verma, all the things will be solved. That may not be the case because there are many other companies also, not the only two companies. These are not the only two companies, Sterling and Unit. No, these are not the only companies. There are other companies too. So you have to take into consideration of the bigger picture. So it is a important solution, right? Most common mistake, not addressing the main or major problem. So here, what is the main problem? Prabhat was working as the vice president marketing at Sterling Electric Limited. Sales were continuously showing downward trend in the last 2 quarters. That is the main thing. So somehow we have to see that the sales are increasing. Now we have got a solution for that. That is special contract from the Defense of Ministry. Prabhat's units might have to be closed if they won't get this defense deal. And he may have to quit the lucrative job. Then Prabha's personal financial health is not that good. He was the single earner in the family with two school college going children and his old ailing mother, regular EMI for house loan. Many think that this is a trap. I've seen even some people telling this, teaching this, that is wrong. This is one of the problem that has to be solved. I repeat, these conditions which are given, these are not the traps. This is a problem to be solved. Is my point clear? Say, if the sales were good, this would have been not the problem. Now the sales are not going up. There is steady decline. So, dear students, this is also a problem to be solved. But you shouldn't get trapped in this problem itself, right? So, this is also an important problem. You have to solve that problem. The immediate action which is required is whether to hire or not hire Subhash Verma, right? Is it clear? Any doubt? If you have got any doubt, please message me. Okay. Coming to the questions, discuss the ethical issues involved. This tests whether you are aware of ethical standards or not. Ethical standards with respect to society. So here you have to come up with all the ethical issues, means societal standards which say what is right, what is wrong. The things which are in the form of right and wrong, which are accepted and not accepted by the society. Social standard, ethical issues means social standards which are there in the case study. Next, critically examine the options available to Prabhat in the above situation. Here you have to solve the problem. Here your problem solving ability is tested. How many options you are able to come up with? More number of options, better problem solver you are. Next, which of the above would be the most appropriate for Prabhat and why? Here, your approach to solve the problem is tested. Along with that, it should be kept in mind that it should be based on integrity and probity. Integrity means incorruptible. Whatever may be the inducements, whatever may be the temptations, you should be uncorruptible. Following the ethical standards, integrity means ethics is equal to standards, societal standards. Following these standards is integrity. When you follow certain rules, procedures, processes, this leads to probity. Probity is proved integrity, right? Here, you should show that you are incorruptible and following the ethical standards in the organization, in the profession, where you will be following the rules, regulations, professional values, code of ethics, which indicate the probity. So the approach, the most important approach, the most appropriate approach will indicate the integrity and probity in you. Discuss the ethical issues involved. Let us take up these things one by one in a systematic way. One is bad work culture or unhealthy work culture, because there is undue pressure on the employees instead of working collaboratively as a team. This is a multinational company. Sterling Electric Limited was a reputed multinational company, but presently the company was passing through difficult times as the sales were continuously showing downward trend in the last 2 quarters. Means sales were showing downward trend. That's it. So we have to solve this one, not giving undue pressure on the employees. Prabhas division, which was either to had been the major revenue contributor to the company's financial health, was not able to procure some projects. So previously it was the major revenue earner. Here everything related to sales doesn't depend only on Prabhat. He's just the vice president. And also there are many other issues like technology, the rivals, all these things. So there is a bad work culture in the company. This is an ethical issue to be considered. Then favoritism versus impartiality, non-partisanship, and objectivity. Favoritism just simply means the practice of giving unfavorable preferential treatment to one person or group at the expense of others. Here, Ministry of Defense is favoring Subhash Verma because it is given in the case study that Subhash Verma's CV had been received through the office of Minister of Defense. A government organization, that is the Minister of Defense, cannot be partial. Always it has to be impartial, non-partisan, and take the decision objectively and in a transparent manner. So here, Ministry of Defense is favoring Subhash Verma, right? Then the next thing is honesty versus fraud, theft, or greed. Fraud is deliberately deceiving others. Subhash Verma here has surreptitiously, that is secretively, removed his own company papers and offered it to the rival company. So it's a fraud, it's a theft. There is a greed involved in him. He has to be honest. Here, there is conflict of interest. Conflict of interest occurs when a person's private interests are such that they may influence the performance of his or her organizational duties. Here, there is a conflict between personal interest and organizational interest. Next, you have got integrity. What is integrity? Integrity is following ethical standards. Integrity is being incorruptible. Integrity is ethical standards. Here, there is lack of integrity because Subhash Verma has stolen, or he's telling that you will be giving those documents, bid documents, and also Office of Minister of Defense. A government organization cannot favor someone. especially in private organization. This also leads to conflict of interest. Then coming to the next one, professional competence, but professionally competent, but no professional ethics. Subhash Verma is competent professionally, but no professional ethics. Professional competence versus professional ethics. Business ethics and ethics in business. This is one of the most important aspects mentioned in second ARC. Second ARC says that business ethics is in fact a derogatory word. Business ethics simply means getting profit by any means. Business ethics, getting profit by any means. But ethics in business is related to fair means. When you serve the organization interest by fair means, we call that there is ethics in business. Means following the social standards, societal standards in the business too. So business ethics should not be there, or you have to give primacy to ethics in business over business ethics. This is predominantly mentioned in the second ART fourth report, that is ethics in governance. You have to take consideration of this point. Then means or ends, deontology versus consequentialism. Are means important or the consequences important? Should we locate ethics in the means, or should we locate ethics in the ends is the question. This question has been asked like 3-4 times in the UPSC, and very important aspect. This was with respect to question A. Now let us directly jump into question C. Afterwards, we'll take up question B. Which of the above would be the most appropriate for Prabhat and why? So here, the most appropriate one would be not hiring Subhash Verma. Not hiring Subhash Verma. Why? Why? Because he's a correct person. Let me just list out the other options in addition to this. Not hiring Subhash Verma, then informing to Secretary of Ministry of Favor that we got a CV forwarded by your department. It may be secretary or appropriate authority. Instead of secretary, it should be appropriate authority. That will be good, because if you think as to whom to inform, your thought process will be stuck. So use this term appropriate authority, and also informing to Unique Electronics Limited. Then analyzing or finding what really went wrong. In fact, this is the main problem. Getting and securing a defense contract is only one of the options available. But this is one of the important options and the only available option in this case. And concentrating on the Ministry of Defense contract. Because hiring Subhash Verma, there is no 100% guarantee that by hiring him, we'll get the contract. So we have to concentrate on the Ministry of Defense contract. Other important aspect is uncertainty reduction. Other than the defense contract, the company has to look for other opportunities also. Where they went, why they went, analyzing the things. Uncertainty reduction, and also uncertainty reduction with respect to Prabhat's family, Prabhat's job. There is every chance that his division may be closed. He may be losing the lucrative job, but he is not financially stable. He has got many obligations. So this is not a trap. This is a problem to be solved. So you should have a plan B for that, and also financial stability. You can tell the help of your friend, his friends, or arrange other sources. Discuss the matter with the family. These things have happened. If his wife is there, if mother is okay, good, they can college going. If they're like elder, so you have to take into consideration this also. There's an element of uncertainty, so you have to reduce not only with respect to the family, but also to the company where he is working. Also, the most important, emotional intelligence. Here, we have to bring in the concept of emotional intelligence. As it has been mentioned that he was perspiring, he was in agony. There is a need for Prabhat to be emotionally intelligent. So why? What is that? Simple. Recognizing the emotions, understanding the emotions, and managing the emotions. In Prabhat, at the same time, recognizing the emotions of the people, maybe the bosses, the executive director, understanding their emotions, and afterwards influencing them, pursuing them. So, very important in a crisp form, emotional application of emotional intelligence. You can have a acronym RUM: recognize, understand, and manage the emotions in you, and also recognize, understand, and influence the emotions of others for the success of the things or to solve the problem. Now, let us critically analyze as to why we have taken this one. Number one, integrity. We are not hiring Subhash Verma. Why? Because he is not having integrity. What is integrity? Integrity is incorruptible. See, we have to take clues from the previous year questions itself. There are many concepts which are made apparent even in the questions. In 2015, one of the tests of integrity is complete refusal to be compromised. So we always have to refuse to be compromised, complete refusal to be compromised. That is incorruptible, right? So you have to show this one. Next, integrity without knowledge is weak and useless. Here it is given in another question which was mentioned in 2014. Integrity without knowledge is weak and useless, and knowledge without integrity is dangerous and dreadful. Here, Prabhat is having the knowledge, but he is not having integrity. So it is very dangerous and dreadful to take him. So we cannot, sorry, Subhash Verma is having knowledge, but he is not having integrity. He is giving his own company papers for a job. So it is dangerous and dreadful. So we should take it. And in another question in 2018, very important. In looking for people to hire, we look for three qualities: integrity, intelligence, and energy. If you do not have the first, that is, if you do not have the integrity, the other two will kill you. Means if you don't have the integrity, but you have the intelligence and energy, if you take those kind of people, it will kill the company, it will kill you. So is this clear? So this is the way you have to take. So what is the concept of integrity present in UPSC mind is presented in these questions. You have to take clues from these questions. You have to decipher the mind of the question paper setter. You have to tune to the frequency of the question paper setter. So here it not only explains the concept of integrity and also tells as to what the course of action has to be. So because of this reason, we are not hiring, or Prabhat should not hire Subhash Verma, right? Again, one more, professionally competent but lacks professional ethics. So we cannot hire. Hiring Subhash Verma is not ethical. It is against ethics in business. Business ethics is doing anything to see that the business get profit. But ethics in business is following ethical standards in business, right? Then voice of conscience. Because of these things, Prabhat shouldn't hire Subhash Verma. Next, very important, informing Secretary, Ministry of Defense. Because there is an element of favoritism. Ministry of Defense is favoring Subhash Verma. That should not be done because it has to act in a transparent, impartial, non-partisan way. And also, This is a matter of great importance, because an element of national security is involved. It was a secret installation, and as a responsible citizen, you have to inform to the appropriate authority, and also to have ethics in business, right? Next, we have to inform Unique Electronic Limited also, because this is professional ethics. Both are working in the same profession, and also guilty should be punished. Subhash Verma is guilty of saying that he will be able to secure those people, or he already has those papers and he will be producing those things. He will be handing over those papers. So guilty should be punished, and you have to inform Unique Electronic also. Next, concentrating on the defense contract by all fair means. Next, analyzing and finding what really went wrong, analyzing the market, where the things went wrong, discussing with the superiors what the other companies are doing, where to whom did we lose the contract, who occupied our place in the market. So all these things has to be discussed and analyzed. This is the main problem because of which company is making loss. Uncertainty reduction, because here defense contract is not the only one. There are many avenues. So we have to look into new opportunities. At the same time, there is a element of uncertainty with respect to his family. So we have to take care of those things. We have to look into the new job. Prabhat has to look into new job, financial stability, discuss the matter with the family, and he has to be emotionally intelligent in dealing with these things, right? So these are the things which are very, very important, and you have to take into consideration. And this is the most appropriate choice that you should be giving. Now coming to the critically examine the options available to Prabhat in the above issues. Here, this is one of the trickiest case study where you have got, like, if you are like can think of every permutation and combination. Say for example, here to illustrate, there are 6 ways of solving this problem, or major options. Each major option once again have numerous other options attached to it. As I said, you have to differentiate, you have to make this point clear that some are ethical, some are unethical, acceptable and non-acceptable. So the major dimension one can think of here is not hiring Subhash Verma, not hiring Subhash Verma, but asking for copies of the bid documents of Unix Electronics. Then hiring Subhash Verma, not taking the bid document, then hiring Subhash Verma and taking the bid document, then discussing with the president marketing at the Sterling Electronics and acting accordingly. And last but not the least, the most important thing, taking some time, because here Sterling Electric Company is about to submit the papers tomorrow, and he has asked, Prabhat has asked to come Subhash tomorrow. So if we take certain extra time, something good we can think of. Time is in fact one of the important medicine while solving the problem. Say for example, in the ethics paper, time is intentionally made less. Why? Because they don't want your cognitive things to come into play, your knowledge to come into play. They want to know your attitude, that is mental predisposition, that is already there in you, right? So here, taking some more time, like asking him to come one day after that or some next week, something like that, will be one of the good options. Then not hiring Subhash Verma, all the options if we can consider in that, not hiring Subhash Verma, informing the local boss, the president marketing that I won't be hiring, and also the executive director. And the same way, there is another option, not informing these people, then informing the Ministry of Defense, not informing the fact that the CV was received from the Ministry of Defense office, then informing unique company or not informing, analyzing what really went wrong with Prabhas division. Either to it was a major revenue contributor to the company's financial health, but the sales were continuously showing downward trend in the past 2 quarters. Why? Whom did we lose to? Why? Top performers in the company, top performing companies in the field, discussing with colleagues, subordinate, analyzing the market, talking to technical team, concentrating on the Minister of Defense contract, because that is one of the major thing. Here, one more element you can have, not hearing and also advising him or counseling or not advising him. Subhash Verma, uncertainty reduction, once again, with respect to the company, looking into the new opportunities with respect to family, he has got every chance that he may be removed from the job. So he has to look for a new job, make the finances stable, discuss with the family. Next is hiring the next best interview candidate, because Subhash Verma is not ethical, he is not the person of integrity. Emotional intelligence, here, as UPSC has mentioned, emotional intelligence is the ability to make your emotions work for you instead against you. Emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize, understand, manage emotions in you, and also recognize, understand, and influence the emotions of the people in the organization. You have to be aware of the power structure. All the things which you discuss in emotional intelligence can be applied here. So these are the options in all. If we look into all the options which we can get, this has to be done at home when you are trying to solve the things. Here you can have like major 8 or like major 4 options. Once again, you will be having another sub options connected to that. Again, you will have another 2 options. So in a way, you can have more than 100 options. The 2 options, first with respect to hiring or not hiring, once again asking for copies of bidding, once again hiring, and also with respect to taking the copies or not taking the copies, the other things which I have discussed. So all these things can be taken into consideration. So once again, for this 8, and again you have got 2 more options, that is asking the management, asking the like head of the president of marketing, and also taking time. So in permutation combination, you'll be have a lot of options which you have to think. This case studies can be solved very easily only when you come up with maximum number of options. Now critically examine the options available to Prabhat in the above situation. So major options are these. First, we have to differentiate between major options and also the options which proceed further. In this, if we are to consider some of the options with respect to the things that is which are ethical, legitimate, and acceptable, not hiring, not hiring Subhash Verma and taking some time will be the ethical options. Here, let us make a very important thing. The moral actions that the Prabhat is taking. Here, he's one like that is concentrating on the defense contract and looking for other options, undeterred by the possible hardships or difficulties that he may face if he loses the job, which may affect his financial condition and in turn his family, and also placing the wrongdoing on record and appraise the senior or the appropriate persons. Now, if we were to evaluate this set of moral values, moral actions that are taken by Prabhat, so let us be very clear regarding them that these actions were governed by personal integrity, professional ethics, ethics in business, as a responsible citizen, voice of conscience, emotional intelligence. So there is a real reason to feel satisfied and content after carrying out these actions. Second is it will project the image of Prabhat as a person of integrity with professional ethics who go beyond the call of his personal benefit. And the third positive we can think of is that with this action, third positive with this action is that Prabhat can have a satisfaction of carrying out this responsibility by upholding or displaying his integrity, professional ethics, ethics in business, and also as a responsible citizen, listening to the voice of his conscience and acting emotionally intelligent, which is very important for a professional. And the fourth, we can think of that he has demonstrated that he is the person of integrity with professional ethics. This will definitely result in some rewarding outcomes for him and also his company in the near future. However, there is a flip side to this set of conditions. One is that, of course, that there may be an increased tension in his personal life and also in his professional life. The company may lose the sales, the professional life. The tension might have many ramifications and also unintended consequences, the things which we cannot see because he is badly in need of money. There will be a mental and emotional pressure. He will be disturbed mentally and also emotionally. His mental and emotional well-being will be compromised to a certain extent. His division may have to be closed. He may have to quit his lucrative job. These are the set of moral actions that are available and their justification. Coming to the immoral actions that Prabhat can take, that is here in this regard, not hiring Subhash Verma but asking for copies, hiring Subhash Verma and taking bid documents. These are like not ethical, not desired, because here Prabhat will be doing something wrong knowingly and willingly. Now, this action may have some material benefits in the short term, but they are likely to lower his self-esteem, self-efficacy. So Prabhat won't be satisfied with these things. It can damage his reputation as a person of integrity, and his image may stand damaged. It will definitely damage his conscience and tarnish his image as a fair and just and an upright professional, not only in his eyes, but also in the eyes of others. And also, there is an another side to this, of course, to these immoral actions will make him live with mutilated conscience because his conscience will be prickling for doing something wrong knowingly and willfully. However, if one can see what kind of benefits, personal benefits that he can like occur to Prabhupada is that to certain extent his financial condition may be stabilized, and also with respect to the company he may get the contract which may solve the problem in the beginning. But here there is one point which you have to consider. There are high chances that Subhash Verma may be an agent of defense or a confidant of defense. That is the reason they have forwarded. So, because that was a very important and secretive thing. Defense Ministry won't give contract to any people. They want to assess the integrity, the probity, and at the same, remember that even if these gains are to be made and harm to be avoided, there is every possibility that in the long run, Prabhat may be implicated for wrongdoing. Not only Prabhat, his company, the Sterling Electronics, can also be implicated for wrongdoing. And there are also high chances that he may be an agent of Unique Electronics. Then coming to the next thing which we can think of is this may be ethical or legitimate, but this cannot be accepted. That is, hiring Subhash Verma but not taking the bid document. Here, there may not be anything related to ethics involved, but it cannot be accepted. How can you take a person who is not having integrity? What's the guarantee that he will be working according to the standards of the company? Discussing with the president marketing sterling and acting accordingly. This option will be good only till discussing, but not acting accordingly, because it shows that you are not having leadership qualities. You are not taking the responsibility because this position was to be held by you. You have to take responsibility and you have to show the leadership quality. The problem is given, you have to solve the problem. You shouldn't run away with the problem. But discussing with the president, discussing with the other executive is one of the best option. Okay. Having said that, by this we come to the end of question number 1. So here, if you are interested to have online and offline coaching, you're most welcome. Offline courses will be held in Bangalore and Delhi. You can message to this number. And before I wind up this session, dear students, if you have got any doubt, please comment in the comment section below. I'll be very happy to answer those questions. Until we meet again, happy reading, enjoy your preparation. Have a great day. Thank you.